สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, May the 8th of 2015, and you're with me, Trachira Kosan. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayuth Chan-o-cha has indicated that the decision whether or not to hold a public referendum will be conducted on the draft charter will be made in a Five Rivers meeting. Prime Minister General Prayuth revealed that the topics of democracy and constitution drafting were brought up for discussion during this week's cabinet meeting. The Premier said he proposed that the charter drafting would be allowed to proceed in accordance with the mechanism, noting that the government and the National Council for Peace and Order can only make suggestions as they do not have the power under Section 44 to meddle with the process. The Prime Minister pointed out that should the Five Rivers agree to organize a public referendum, it would require another 3 months and a budget of 3 billion baht before the next general election could come about. Personally, General Prayuth viewed past constitutions of Thailand as containing too much content, which often prompted the need for amendment. He thus opined that the new charter should contain specific details in the form of organic laws in order to avoid problems in the enforcement stage. Prime Minister General Prayuth Chan-o-cha has instructed officials to expedite assistance to drought-affected farmers while introducing a subsidy on agricultural equipment. According to government spokesperson Dr. Yongyut Mayalap, the campaign would issue coupons for farmers to buy discounted seeds, fertilizers, and equipment. The program is expected to be implemented soon, he said, adding that it would significantly lower the expenses for farmers. He also revealed that the Prime Minister has instructed the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives to educate agricultural operators on various anti-drought measures, reducing overhead expenses and planting alternative crops. The ministry was also tasked with preventing the low market price of rice during the next harvest season. Meanwhile, the government has approved the budget of One Tambon 1 million baht scheme for 3,051 sub-districts suffering from recurring drought. The cabinet has made an adjustment to the quake relief program for Nepal, shifting the focus from rescue to rehabilitation, while people are encouraged to donate money rather than items. According to Deputy Government Spokesperson Major General Sansern Kaew-Kamnert, the cabinet members discussed upcoming assistance plans for quake-ravaged Nepal. A consensus was reached that Thailand's relief efforts should go in line with the Nepalese government's recent declaration that it would move away from rescue operations and towards rehabilitation, especially the repair of historical structures damaged by the tremor. Involved agencies in Thailand are set to convene in order to set a new direction to accurately respond to Nepal's needs. Initially, the cabinet agreed to divide donations collected by the government into two portions, one to be headed to various foundations of Nepal and the other to go towards UN organizations active in the country. Major General Sansern affirmed that the government will continue to accept donations from Thai people. He, however, said it would be more helpful for them to donate in cash than in kind at the moment. Thus far, the amount of money received from donors through the Send Thai Hearts to Nepal account has surpassed 150 million baht. The cabinet has acknowledged an economic report for February of 2015 in which improvements are evident in many aspects. Government spokesperson Dr. Yongyut Mayalap stated that during its weekly meeting, the cabinet was presented with an overview of the Thai economy in February compared to the previous month. Most indicators were said to have improved, including the Manufacturing Production Index and tourist arrival, which both edged up 3.1%. Investments by the public sector and state enterprises expanded by expanded 78.2% and 23.9% respectively, while private investment was relatively stable. Dr. Yongyut also pointed out that the private consumption index had a tendency to grow continuously, although it only moved up 0.1% during the month. Economic stability was at a satisfactory level, with a current account surplus, weakening inflation, lower unemployment, and a stabilizing ratio of public debt to GDP. According to him, the cabinet has approved the signing of a memorandum of understanding on aviation between Thailand and France.
Cabinet approved MOU between Thailand and France on aviation. On the 7th of May 2015, the Cabinet meeting resolved to approve the proposal by the Ministry of Transport for Thailand to approve an MOU between Thailand and France on aviation, and for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to proceed with notes of exchange between the two countries on the matter. The MOU will cover a number of issues concerning cooperation on aviation between Thailand and France. These include agreements on airlines, permits, air cargo, ground services for aviation, aviation safety, and air routes. The MOU will allow both countries to embark on a new set of cooperative arrangements on aviation, which will benefit passengers as well as airlines. Among the many areas of cooperation that is expected to evolve from this MOU, there are considerations for airline code sharing, increased cargo to facilitate trade and investment, and enhanced cooperation on airline safety and overall aviation safety standards.
And the cabinet also gave a nod to draft MOUs between Thailand and Myanmar on energy cooperation and electrical energy. The approval will serve to enhance the strategic partnership as a boost to energy security of both countries. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or MFA, does not believe the discovery of Rohingya corpses in Songkhla will affect Thailand's ranking on the U.S. human trafficking watch list. MFA spokesperson Sek Wannamethi has stated that the incident is unlikely to further demote Thailand in the Trafficking in Persons report, or TIP, as many have anticipated. According to the spokesperson, the U.S. has already reviewed its report on Thai efforts in eradicating human trafficking on March 31st. The U.S. is not expected to consider revising the ranking anytime soon. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, will vote today whether to impeach the former Commerce Minister and his associates on grounds of corruption in the previous government-to-government rice program. Former Commerce Minister Bunsong Teriyapirom, former Deputy Commerce Minister Phum Sarapon, and former Department of Foreign Trade Director General Manat Saiplai are facing impeachment on grounds of malfeasance and corruption, which led to the failure of the previous government's G2G rice program. The NLA gave the floor to the plaintiff at the National Anti-Corruption Commission to deliver its closing statement, affirming its conviction that the defendants are indeed guilty as accused. Mr. Bunsong and Mr. Phum delivered their closing statements, defense statements, in person, while Mr. Manat submitted his in writing. Following the closing statements, NLA President Ponpet Wichit Cholachai scheduled May 8th as the day for the NLA to decide whether to impeach the three defendants. Members will vote in a closed ballot. All the three officials previously declined to attend the hearing session on April 30th. Claiming their statements might jeopardize their case, which is also being deliberated by the Supreme Court's Division for Political Office Holders. The National Reform Council, or NRC, is now compiling amendment proposals on the draft constitution, focusing on the composition of political bodies. According to the chairman of the NRC's Law and Justice System Reform Committee, Seri Suwannapanot, most NRC members have strong opinions towards revising the electoral system and the composition of Parliament. He himself was of the opinion that members of the House of Representatives should be fully elected from the constituency system, as it would make the lower house more tied to the will of the people. However, should the parallel system of constituency plus party list ballots remain, the ratio of constituent MPs should be significantly more than party list MPs. Mr. Seri also disagreed on the composition of the new reform committee, which would include 60 NRC members, as the NRC's influence would spill into post-election politics. He affirmed that the amendment proposals from his committee would take into consideration the opinions of law department heads of universities across the country. The Southern Border Provinces Administrative Center, or SBPAC, has presented its achievements over the past 6 months, saying improvements in local economy and quality of life in the Deep South have led to a more peaceful situation. SBPAC Secretary General Panu Uttairat shared a press conference to announce results from the agency's 6-month operations, with the participation of related officials and media members. He said SBPAC has been working closely with the Internal Security Operations Command Region 4 and the Southern Border Provinces Police Operations Center to solve problems and foster peace and development in the Deep South, in line with policy of the government and the National Council for Peace and Order. The Secretary General reported that the overall situation in the region has turned for the better, affirming the agency will ensure more improvements will be continuously seen. He also cited a recent survey as indicating that insurgent activities have diminished by 60%, thanks to a stronger economy and better living conditions of local residents. According to Mr. Panu, the main accomplishments during the 6-month period include uplifting the people's quality of life, increasing career opportunities in the region, stimulating local economy, and fostering sustainability through educational promotion and collaboration with other security agencies. The Bank of Thailand, or BOT, is expecting national household debt to rise further and has expressed concern that several commercial banks are tightening loan approvals. The concerns were quoted in a recent BOT survey on the opinions of financial executives overseeing the credit and loan affairs of various bank and non-bank institutions. The report stated that commercial banks predicted more demand for credit and loans for general consumption from the household sector during the second quarter. However, the banks indicated that they would impose strict loan regulations, especially for business loans. The survey revealed that commercial banks have already implemented harsher loan codes since the first quarter, resulting in a reduced number of clients applying for credit cards and auto loans. Meanwhile, a few government financial institutes maintained relaxed regulations for general-purpose loans as part of the administration's policy to help maintain spending in the private sector during the second quarter. The Ministry of Commerce has denied the speculation that the previous import of palm oil was the cause of the current decline in the price of palm fruit. Permanent Secretary for Commerce Chutima Bunyaprapat insisted that the ministry is not being complacent about the reported price slump in oil palm fruit in the southern region. She also confirmed that the problem did not result from the decision to import 50,000 tons of crude palm oil at the beginning of this year. Based on a recent survey on the oil palm situation in Krabi, Surat Thani, and Chumphon provinces, the permanent secretary revealed the price of palm fruit with 17% oil content is still in compliance with the resolution of the Committee on Goods and Services Prices, which pegs the price at 4 baht per kilogram. Such a resolution stemmed from an earlier agreement by all related sides, including palm growers, extractors, and refiners, as well as the Ministries of Commerce and Agriculture and cooperatives. However, many planters are calling for palm processors to buy the fruit at 5 baht a kilo instead of 4 baht. The increase would inevitably push up the production costs of bottled palm oil. Therefore, Ms. Chutima said the Department of Internal Trade will seek talks with provincial governors in the South in a bid to come up with appropriate solutions. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fourth core value: seeking direct and indirect knowledge and education.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Nepal has recently been hit by a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake. The disaster has caused great damage to the country. Thousands of people lost their lives. Thousands of people lost their family. Thousands of people lost their homes. Millions of people are still in dire need of support. You can lend a helping hand by donating to these accounts.
We have received many calls offering help in kind, means trying to send goods, and they are asking how we can help. We are really humbled by the offer of the government and the people of Thailand for our people in Nepal, and we highly appreciate it.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Time now for the ASEAN and Beyond segment. The PRD Deputy Director General has welcomed journalists from Guangxi Television, Republic of China, on their visit to Thailand to exchange creative information and content, and also to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relationship between Thailand and China. Mr. Jamlong Singtongam, PRD Deputy Director General, welcomed the journalists from Guangxi Television Station who arrived under the Memorandum of Understanding between the government's Public Relations Department and Guangxi Television Station. This is to build a better relationship and understanding among the people of the two countries about each other's trading and investment activities, social and cultural aspects, as well as the country's work towards creating the ASEAN community. The year 2015 also marks Thailand and China's 40th anniversary since the establishment of their diplomatic relationships. The Deputy Director General said that the Public Relations Department has taken part in helping to strengthen the friendship between Thailand and China over a very long period of time. This year, a concert starring well-known Thai singers is being prepared to be staged in China, which is part of the acculturation of Thailand's art and performance culture to countries of bilateral cooperation. Besides the concert, there are many other activities the Public Relations Department is promoting to strengthen the role of the international media in international relationships. Elsewhere around the world, vote counting has begun in constituencies across Britain in what has been dubbed the closest general election in a generation. A broadcasting exit poll suggested British Prime Minister David Cameron's Conservatives are on course to win the most seats in Parliament, but will be just shy of an outright majority. The majority of opinion polls in the run-up to the vote have showed the race to be a lot closer than the exit poll suggested. The poll put the Conservatives on 316 seats and the main opposition Labour Party on 239. The Scottish National Party, or SNP, is set to win 58 seats, all but wiping Labour out in its former Scottish stronghold. The centrist Liberal Democrats, who have governed in coalition with the Conservatives for the past 5 years, will get just 10 seats in the 650-seat Westminster Parliament, according to the poll released by national broadcasters. However, the combined total of 326 for the Conservatives and Liberal Democrats indicated that Cameron should be able to stay in office, maybe with the support of another small party. Visitors to Higashiyama Zoo and Botanical Gardens in Japan witnessed a daring escape attempt on Tuesday. A sun bear named Martin from the Helarctos malayanus family made a valiant attempt to scale the wall of his enclosure, much to the entertainment of zoo visitors. Now, the zookeepers tried frantically to get him to climb down, and the end of a long stick was used by one of the staff to herd Martin inside his enclosure. The keeper leaned on the large wall that Martin was attempting to climb up and gently prodded him until he finally descended. That's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. We're going to say goodbye with footage of a baby chimpanzee at a zoo in Maryland. I'm Tra Tirakasan. Have a wonderful day. Sawasdee ka.